So much, Nicole. I feel like we failed to clarify that as a nonfiction piece. We were really arguing to put it in the poetry section because we wanted to say it was our good grace to let us put that in the book, but we can't have that honor. Fiction editors, you really knew what you were doing. Let's see. Up next we have Isha Rosemond, who has written a wonderful story, and you're going to really just enjoy her vision.
Hello. You don't really realize how big the room is until you're in front. So I completely revoke my signature that says you can record this if I happen to vomit on you guys. But this piece is called The Reverie of Tomorrow, and it's about me kind of finding my identity as a Haitian American woman, first generation. So yeah. I'm going to start off kind of towards the end. The news did not elaborate their disgust towards his death. They did not make a call for action. They did not write of a son that would be missed, but they did paint the details of his mother's criminal past. They did describe him being difficult with the police. They did write that his reading level was 4 grade levels behind. I read the articles and I asked what I always ask when there is a new name for me to swallow. I wonder how long his name will be remembered. I turn on the news. Politicians stand tall, leaning against the strength of an oak podium in City Hall building. Their ties have been pressed by their wives or secretaries. Their children are at school learning how to cross-multiply, and their supporters applaud their political pleas for Freddie Gray's community to remain practical. The screen cuts to his mother sobbing. My stomach flips. It is 9 a.m. and I have to be sure I'm at school by 9:30, so I shut off the television, I wash my face, pack my bag, and grab my keys. I can't think of another man dying right now. I have to continue living my own life. The images are forced away in a box that can be opened when I am in the safety of my own solitude. At the time, I worked in bee caves out of swim school, and I was the only black coach, and in my entire year working there, I never coached a black student. There were only 2 enrolled. That day, I stood on deck, refusing to open the box of names in my mind, and swimmers dove into lanes, and I did not want to see waves of blood. I did not want to see the hands of a mother dripping with the blood of her son's stolen life. And when the swimmers gasped for air, I refused to hear the wheezes of Eric Garner as he begged the police to release him from a fatal chokehold. Parents hugged their children with gentle arms that seemed to say, I can protect you from the monsters of the world. And I could only help but think when I was their age, my mother's arms barely allowed me to move. Her slim limbs begged me to understand that the safest place for me was within them. And once I left them, I was the world's to take. When those kids ran up to me in excitement because of their improved times, I hugged them with the same arms that my mother used on me. Their parents would not tell them that an innocent man was murdered by the police that were the same guys that were supposed to protect him. It wasn't their fault that the world left my mother without a choice but to have that conversation with me, so instead I thanked the world that those kids would not be forced to feel the crippling fear of a slanted reality so early. They walked away with an ignorance to fear that every child should have. Will our country be failing when I have to warn my children with that same embrace my mother gave me? What right does this world have to steal a parent's ability to protect? The difficult issue with being black in 21st century America is that people have this idea that we're not really black. Since our parents were not forced to pick 300 pounds of cotton a day, we don't know slavery. And since our parents were allowed to vote, we don't know systemic oppression. In reality, just as cell phones are no longer brick devices that serve a single purpose, racism does not exist solely at the end of a leather whip. I stand in Moloch lonely and screaming out this truth, but only some are actively listening. Facebook statuses in solidarity are posted just as quickly as the very intention of them are lost. The conversation of race between the African American community and American law enforcement is equatable to beating a dead horse. On one end, we have a group of people saying, I deal with something I should not have to deal with because I am human. On the other, we have a group of people saying, but we've already done so much, can't you wait? Institutions expect African Americans to act pragmatically against a situation in a time that is nothing short of fearful. I have learned that this is how history transforms. History has never been associated with comfort. Contrarily, the two are exclusively opposing. We can sob and scream and sigh and bend and break, but we must rebuild. As all of this is done, we must remember that this movement is not necessarily for us. This endangerment, this fear, this thickness in the air is a short-lived necessity for the ones that follow. American identity is built on the dream that says we can accomplish something if we work hard enough. Some people chase this dream, and they carry the weight of its sacrifice, but never taste the juices of its actuality. My great-great-great-grandparents were slaves in Haiti. As a first-generation Haitian American, my identity lies on what I make of it right now. We have to work harder because we are greater than the reverie of tomorrow. We can change the concept of what American identity is right now. American identity can become one that is determined by a collective effort for moral justice, not borders. There is a fight that has to be fought this time, and we have to fight it until there is no longer a boxing ring. In a world that has conquered diseases that once buried nations, it is time for us to conquer the complacent belief that where we are now is our final destination. I'm gonna say.